A good morning. And let me ask you something before we even get started. When you sat down for breakfast this morning, did you actually give your muscles what they needed? Or did you eat something that felt like breakfast but did almost nothing for your body? Because here's the truth. Almost nobody over 60 has been told. The window right after you wake up may be the single most important meal of the day for keeping your muscles strong. And most people are wasting it on toast, cereal, or a piece of fruit that does virtually nothing to protect the strength you have left. I'm not talking about a supplement. I'm not talking about a powder you mix into water. I'm talking about one food, one ordinary food most of you already have in your refrigerator right now, that a growing body of research shows may be one of the most effective tools available for protecting muscle as we age. Most people over 60 are quietly losing strength every single year without realizing it. And breakfast, of all things, may be the moment where that decline can be slowed or even reversed. This morning, that changes. I've spent years studying how nutrition intersects with the aging body. And what I'm going to walk you through comes from real, published research, not internet folklore, not a supplement company's marketing copy. And I promise you, this is something your doctor has probably never sat down and explained to you in a rushed 10-minute visit. Before I tell you exactly what this food is, I want you to understand why the stakes here are so much higher than most people realize. After the age of 60, most adults lose somewhere between 1 and 2% of their muscle mass every single year if nothing is done to stop it. That may not sound dramatic when you first hear it, but multiply that across a decade, and you're looking at a body that has lost a significant portion of the strength it once had. That's the difference between carrying your own groceries and needing help. That's the difference between getting up from a low chair without thinking about it and struggling every single time. This condition even has a name in the medical literature. It's called sarcopenia, and researchers increasingly consider it one of the most under-discussed threats to independence in older age. Now, here's what I want you to sit with for a moment before we go further. The food I'm about to reveal isn't expensive, isn't exotic, and isn't something you need a prescription for. It's something many of you have been eating your entire life, but almost certainly not at the right time, and almost certainly not in the right amount. I'll walk you through exactly what it is and exactly how to eat it in just a moment. And I think what the research shows is going to genuinely surprise you. But first, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your age and whether you've noticed any change in your strength over the past few years, whether it's harder to open jars, harder to get up off the floor, harder to carry things you used to carry without a second thought. I read every comment on this channel personally, and knowing where you are helps me keep making videos that actually matter to you. We have a wonderful community of people here who are taking control of their health instead of just accepting decline as inevitable. And I want to know that you're one of them. All right, let's get into it. The food I'm talking about is the humble egg. And I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now because I hear it from my patients constantly. You've been told to watch your cholesterol. You've been told eggs are something to limit, something to be cautious around, maybe something to eat only occasionally as a treat. I want to ask you to set that concern aside for just a few minutes while I walk you through what the actual research says. Because the gap between the outdated advice many of you received decades ago and what nutrition science currently shows is enormous, and almost nobody has gone back to correct the record for you. Here's why eggs matter so specifically for muscle. And I'll keep the science accessible because understanding the why is what makes people actually follow through. Your muscles are in a constant state of turnover. Every single day, your body is simultaneously building new muscle protein and breaking old muscle protein down. Muscle protein synthesis is the building side of that equation, and muscle protein breakdown is the demolition side. When you're young, those two processes stay fairly balanced, and a moderate amount of protein at a meal is enough to tip the scale toward building. But as you age, something frustrating happens. Your muscles become less responsive to protein. Researchers call this anabolic resistance, and it means the same plate of food that used to trigger strong muscle building in your body now produces a much weaker response. Think of it like a stereo speaker that's slowly losing its sensitivity. You have to turn the signal up much louder just to get the same sound you used to get from a whisper. This is where a specific amino acid called leucine becomes critically important, and it's really the center of this entire conversation. Leucine acts like a switch. When enough of it hits your bloodstream at once, it flips on a cellular pathway called mTOR, which is essentially the ignition system for muscle building. Below a certain threshold, that switch simply doesn't fully engage no matter how much time passes. A systematic review that pooled findings from 29 separate studies published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition examined exactly this leucine threshold effect and found something striking. In older adults, the leucine trigger predicted whether meaningful muscle building occurred in the large majority of study groups examined. In younger adults, the same relationship held in only a minority of cases. In other words, for a younger body, hitting that leucine threshold matters less because the underlying machinery is still responsive. For an older body, hitting that threshold is often the deciding factor in whether a meal does anything for your muscles at all. And here's the part that should genuinely change how you think about breakfast. Research on protein requirements in aging adults has consistently found that where a younger person may only need around 2 grams of leucine in a meal to flip that switch, older adults often need closer to 3 grams, roughly 50% more, to achieve the same effect. That's not a small adjustment. That's the difference between a meal that quietly does nothing for your muscles and one that actively works to preserve them. And the research is fairly consistent that this generally requires somewhere in the range of 25 to 40 grams of high-quality protein concentrated at that one sitting, not spread thinly across the day in tiny amounts here and there. This is exactly where eggs become so valuable. And it comes down to something researchers call protein quality. Not all protein is created equal. A gram of protein from a starchy vegetable is not nutritionally equivalent to a gram of protein from an animal source in terms of how efficiently your body can actually use it to build muscle. Eggs sit near the very top of what's called the biological value scale, meaning your body absorbs and utilizes egg protein with extraordinary efficiency. Research reviewed in the medical literature on sarcopenia prevention specifically highlights eggs as an inexpensive, widely available, and easily digestible source of complete, high-quality protein containing a meaningful concentration of leucine, alongside other nutrients that matter enormously for older adults, including vitamin D and omega-3 fatty acids. For a lot of my patients, that combination in a single familiar food is what makes this so practical. You don't need a powder. You don't need a shake. You need something that's already sitting in your refrigerator. I want to introduce you to someone I worked with, a woman named Eleanor, 68 years old, a retired librarian from Asheville, North Carolina. Eleanor came to me because she'd started noticing she needed both hands to open jars she used to open with one. And getting up out of her garden chair had started requiring a real push instead of just standing. Her breakfast for years had been a piece of toast with jam and a cup of coffee, which, when you actually break it down nutritionally, provides almost no usable protein at all. We restructured her mornings around a higher protein breakfast built primarily around eggs. And within about 10 weeks, she told me something I still remember clearly. She said the garden chair stopped feeling like an obstacle. Small thing to some people. But to Eleanor, it was the difference between feeling like her body was working against her and feeling like she had some control back. I want to be careful here because I don't make sweeping promises, and every person responds differently. But Eleanor's experience lines up with what the research consistently points toward. Now let's talk about why timing specifically matters, because this is where most people miss the bigger opportunity entirely. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition looked directly at whether the timing of protein intake across the day made a meaningful difference to muscle outcomes in older adults, comparing those who ate more of their daily protein at breakfast against those who concentrated it later at dinner. The researchers found that the group eating more protein in the morning had significantly stronger hand grip strength, and that the overall ratio of morning protein intake was meaningfully correlated with both better muscle mass and stronger grip strength. In a follow-up intervention portion of that same research, older adults who added a modest amount of protein specifically at breakfast showed a measurable increase in muscle mass compared to those who added the identical amount of protein at dinner instead. Same total protein, same day. The only variable that changed was when it was eaten, and the morning group came out ahead. Why would timing matter this much? One explanation researchers point to involves your body's internal circadian rhythm. Certain genes involved in muscle repair appear to be more active during the early part of your waking day, meaning your muscles may be genuinely more receptive to the raw materials protein provides earlier rather than later. Think of it like watering a plant. Water it during the hours when the plant is actively photosynthesizing and pulling in nutrients, and you get real growth. Pour that same water on the plant at the wrong time of day, and much of it simply runs off, doing far less good. Your muscles appear to work in a strikingly similar way, absorbing and using protein most effectively earlier in your day. There's also a very practical reason breakfast matters so much for older adults specifically, and it has nothing to do with biology and everything to do with habit. Research examining eating patterns across hundreds of community-dwelling older adults has found that breakfast and lunch are consistently the meals where protein intake tends to fall shortest, while dinner tends to carry the bulk of the day's protein. That means for most people over 60, breakfast represents the single biggest missed opportunity in their entire day to hit that leucine threshold we talked about earlier. It's not that people are eating badly at every meal. It's that one specific meal, the one you may be rushing through or skipping most days, is quietly where the real opportunity is being lost. Here's how to put this into practice. And I want to be specific because vague advice doesn't help anyone. Aim for 2 to 3 whole eggs at breakfast. And I do mean whole eggs, not just the whites. The yolk carries a significant portion of the egg's total protein, along with the vitamin D and choline that matter for both muscle and cognitive health. So removing it is counterproductive if your goal is maximizing the benefit. 2 to 3 whole eggs alone will get you a meaningful amount of protein. But to reliably reach that 25 to 40 gram range that research suggests is most effective for triggering muscle protein synthesis in an older body. I recommend pairing your eggs with an additional protein source at the same sitting. A cup of plain Greek yogurt alongside your eggs, or a slice of whole grain toast with a tablespoon of nut butter rounds out the meal and pushes you solidly into that optimal range without requiring you to eat an unreasonable number of eggs in one sitting. If you've been told to avoid eggs because of cholesterol concerns, I'd encourage you to have a direct conversation with your doctor about current research on dietary cholesterol, because the scientific consensus on this has shifted substantially over the past 2 decades. And for most healthy older adults without specific existing conditions, moderate egg consumption is no longer viewed with the same alarm it once was. This is a conversation worth having directly with your physician based on your own individual health picture, not something to decide from a video alone. Now, I want to pause here for a moment. If this is reshaping the way you think about something as ordinary as breakfast, take a second right now and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos every week specifically for people who are serious about protecting their strength and their independence as they get older. Every subscription tells me you want more of this. And it genuinely helps me reach more people who've never been given this information before. It matters more than you probably realize. I want to tell you about one more patient before we close this out. A man named Walter, 72, a retired postal worker from Dayton, Ohio. Walter had always been proud of his physical capability. He'd worked a physically demanding job for over 3 decades and took real pride in still being able to carry his own firewood, still being able to help his son move furniture. When he started noticing his grip wasn't what it used to be, that a bag of mulch felt heavier than it should, he described it to me as watching a part of his identity slip away quietly without any single dramatic moment marking it. Walter restructured his mornings the way we've discussed here, built consistently around eggs paired with Greek yogurt, alongside continuing the light resistance work he was already doing a couple of times a week. After roughly 12 weeks, he came back into my office and told me his grandson had commented that his handshake felt strong again. That's a small moment, but for Walter, it was everything. That's not a test score on a chart. That's a real piece of daily life reclaimed. I want to be honest with you about something else, because I think it matters more than any single food ever could. Eggs at breakfast are not a magic fix on their own. The research is clear that protein works best in combination with some form of resistance activity, even something as modest as light bands or body weight movements a couple of times a week, because protein gives your muscles the raw materials, but movement is what tells your body those materials are actually needed. If you're only doing one of these two things, you're leaving real benefit on the table. I'd rather tell you that honestly now than let you believe breakfast alone will do all the work. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. The meal you've probably been treating as the least important part of your day may actually be the most strategically important moment you have to protect your strength as you age. Not a supplement, not an expensive intervention. 2 or 3 whole eggs paired with a second protein source eaten consistently at the meal your body seems primed to use it best. If this video gave you something you didn't know this morning, hit that notification bell so you never miss the next one, and please share this with someone you love who's over 60, because a conversation this simple could genuinely change how they move through the next decade of their life. Leave me a comment and let me know, are you already an eggs for breakfast person, or is this something you're going to start tomorrow morning?